Get ready. It's time for the Me and Jesse podcast with Mark Pavelich and Jesse Martineau.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Me and Jesse podcast. My name is Mark Pavelich, and way in the Grove, the bearded wonder, the gray fox, the one and only Jesse Martineau.
I've been called many things.
The gray fox.
The silver fox. You know what? I think by the end of the summer, this is going to be white.
I didn't want to call you the silver fox because I didn't want to get sued. So I figured,
I'll call you. Who's the silver?
Probably someone has it.
George Clooney is the only.
Yeah, probably has it trademarked. Yeah.
Well, hey, George better get in line here because, geez, look at this.
Yeah, no.
That's what happens when you think too much. So don't think.
Is that what it is?
That's the advice today.
That's why hair is very black.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. We are excited because it's another week and we have some major sports things happening. Have you been watching tennis, Mark?
I have. I mean, it's the French Open, and you know how I am about that. It's
is it your favorite one? It is your favorite one, isn't it?
Well, I've been there. I've been to Roland Garros. I went on the big. They were going to give us a tour, and I said, forget the tour, buddy. I want the VIP, the top shelf Paris a la mode. Okay, I want that, and I got that, and I got to go on. I basically toured the grounds with someone that was very far away from us, not even really watching.
Right.
And I got to I laid on center court and did a snow angel.
In the clay.
And yeah, that's right. And there was shit all over me, but that's what a lot of people. It's a different game on clay. It's a totally different game on clay. Hence why, my favorite player in the world wins so much there, and he does win on other surfaces. But clay is very different to play on.
It is. It's crazy. I watched the Breakpoint on the series on Netflix, and they talk about Roland Garros so much, and then Nadal's absolute friggin' domination. Like there might not be another sport ever that someone dominated that severely on one event. When you think about it, like that. Correct. That is insane. I'll pull up the numbers later, but you got to go. You got to go to do that consistently. The ability to do that and play on and you're right. Like he wins on other surfaces too. He's not just a clay player. Like the guy is incredible. One of the top 5 ever to play.
Oh, I agree. Ever.
And,
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that.
I don't think anyone that could argue with that or does argue with that, I think is out to lunch. I don't think he's the greatest player ever, but I might put him in the top 3 to be honest. But
top 3.
Yeah, but he is. It is incredible when he's on that. Is he in this tournament?
I believe so. Don't forget it just started, right? So
yeah.
I saw Shapovalov, the Canadian kid, get murdered the other night, and I love it because he has me blocked on Twitter, which he should, because I talk so much shit about that kid. His lack of intensity, his lack of digging inside himself.
What happened to him?
You know what the difference is? The kid actually has so much talent. It's just he's one of those kids that I believe that if you would check growing up, he had his mother carrying his tennis bag. He's that kid. And that's the kind of kid that, Nadal probably never had anybody carrying his tennis bag. You know what I'm saying? That kid had to go use the same tennis balls over and over and over again until they didn't work anymore.
Well, I think really the Felix, alias
Auger.
Yeah, Auger.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that guy could be the guy.
I agree.
Especially in Canada.
He's from Montreal, and he just has more of a, I don't know, methodical way of doing things. Shapovalov, it seems like he thinks like it's owed to him. it seems like, oh, you owe me.
Hmm.
Like no one owes you shit. And listen, you know what happens in tennis? You see these guys like Federer and Djokovic and all these guys that went through a lot of shit in their life, and literally like had to figure this out and grind it out. Tennis is a vicious game, man. You know, when you play
You lose
five
a lot.
hours, you play 5 hours, 6 hours. This really is the question. This is a fight. That's why I've always loved tennis so much. People look at it as a foofy sport, and I'm like, why would you look at it that way? It's a fist fight. It is literally a mano. It's you against me. We're on dirt, you know, playing on dirt, and we're literally playing against each other. And literally, it's like a fist fight. It usually doesn't come down to who has the most skill. It comes down in those major tournaments who has the most.
Yeah,
correct.
And
correct.
to me, that's why I think Milos Raonic
Yep.
like struggles because he gasses very severely. If he can't overpower you and get
You mean
that,
Djokovic? Djokovic.
no, I mean the Canadian guy.
Oh, the Canadian. Oh yeah, Shapovalov. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Milos.
Oh,
Raonic.
you're talking about from before.
Yes,
yeah,
before,
like,
yeah. Because everyone was like, he's going to be the guy. Like,
Well, he had a great serve too.
he had
right?
an
He was a
amazing
big
serve,
guy,
but he
big guy.
gassed
Yeah.
so
Yeah, yeah.
bad. Like it was one of those
Oh,
things.
you're
that-
going back. You're going back. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going all the way back.
But he was
yeah.
like he was a guy.
Yeah.
Nadal's record at the French Open 112-3, so 14 titles. Only losing 3 of the ones he's been in. So out of the 17, he's only lost 3.
Yeah. You got to go see the problem with the problem with Nadal too is playing him anytime. He doesn't give you any free points. So what happens is you're playing a guy that's not going to give you any free points. He probably never gave anybody a free point before. So you have to grind him. And that's a problem for some guys. And that's what I talk about. It's like a fight because it does get to be kind of like a fight. You know, it's like, Jesus, this guy just doesn't give any free points away. And that's a problem for some guys because they're used to guys, you know, doing a lot of unforced errors. And Nadal, even at the age he's at right now, just doesn't do that.
It is an incredible record.
Yeah. I'll be watching religiously. So, I mean, today's the Monday. So I kind of like start to pay attention today. It goes into the week and then it flops over to the next week. And I'm, like I said, it's a great tournament because it's just a different surface. It's a mucky event. It's you're wearing white. By the end, you look like you've been in a fight in a pig pen. And so that's,
Nadal
the ground
is out for the whole season.
Yeah,
2 days
season,
ago,
yeah.
reported,
I thought so too. I thought so too because they were saying he was going to play, he wasn't going to play, and then we find out he is out for the season, and rightfully so. I think we could maybe be seeing the end of his career because these are injuries now. When you get to a certain age, where it's just not that easy to come back from.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And again, like he's been around so much, and he has struggled with injuries.
He doesn't have to prove shit to nobody anymore, right?
I mean, really,
and he's got enough money, and he lives in probably Spain.
That is about winning, and I think these guys that are at this high level are winning. Which brings me to F1 because again, F1 is we talk about that a lot on this show because it's become so popular in North America as well. But
rightfully so.
I think so too. I think they've done a really good job of making it entertaining. Although
they sure have.
The complaint is that Mercedes wins 7 years in a row and everyone's like upset because they're just dominating. Now this year, Red Bull clearly ahead of everybody, and people complaining because they're dominating. But I'll say this: is that when you have a guy that if I'll be honest about me, if it was me like winning by finishing and having a shower before everyone even comes in. I might get bored, and I think Max might be a little bored sometimes because, in particular,
I know this much. This is what I do know. Everybody can talk about the cars. Everybody can talk about the speed all they want. Everybody can talk all that bullshit. You know what I do know though is half the races where say Mercedes finished on the podium. If I took Max and I put him in those cars, he would have won the race. So I don't get there is a car thing here going on.
Yeah.
Okay, I do agree with that. But I do agree with half those races. Half. If you would have put Max in Lewis Hamilton's car, he would have won the race.
I think so.
End of story. Do you remember some of the races when he was in 16th, starting in 16th position, and Hamilton was starting in 8th position, and Hamilton got 3rd, but Max won. So there's a prime example of if Max had Hamilton's car, he would have won the race regardless.
Yeah, and I think we're watching
Yeah.
Perez with the exact same car Max has, and Max doing what he's doing. Like, in fact, like, this is what my point is yesterday, the race is on, and Max is 20 seconds ahead. Goes out of the lines, and if you can't go out of the line to the track, he does it 3 times. One more time, he gets a 10-second penalty. But he didn't have the fastest lap yet. His teammate, Perez, in the same car, got the fastest lap on fresh tires. Max is near the end of the race, is on the cusp of having that 10-second penalty, and says, no, I'm going to win. I'm going to take the fastest lap, too, on old tires.
Yeah.
And beats it. And you're like, okay,
and doesn't have to do that.
He doesn't have
correct.
to, but he's showing, I am silencing all of you. Now people are saying, and I always watch the comments. Today are like, okay, love or hate the guy, you can't argue with how fast he is. All he wants to do is go faster than anybody else, and he will make it embarrassing for anyone else out there. There's a different level that this guy's hit, and it is exciting that we could be watching maybe back-to-back the greatest drivers ever to drive.
Do you realize the only thing that you're going to get on Max is champagne at the end of the race when you're on the podium?
You're hoping that
that's the only thing you're going to get on him, because you can't touch him with nothing else, right? And no, it's true. And you can bring back episodes of the Me and Jesse podcast from early last year where I despise Max. But then you get to the point, like you said, you can't do that anymore. You can't talk crap about him. You can't put him down. You can't say nothing wrong about the guy. And you know what? The only thing critics woke up today saying is, oh, maybe he's a little too aggressive. Oh, shut up already.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You know what? He won again. And you know what's funny? We almost take it, and I'm not going to make that mistake with Max. We almost take it like, oh, he's just going to win all the time, right? No. He's flexing. He's flexing.
Hey,
and he's
Schumacher did the same thing, back in the day.
Did.
And maybe Max, in like, whenever the contract runs out in a few years, maybe he does go to like a Porsche or something to like, hey guys, I'll do it here too. And maybe he pulls a Schumacher thing where Ferrari was nothing. Ferrari had been horrible for a long time before Schumacher decided to go there, and together they brought the team to what it is. To today, where the team is an absolute debacle, like they can't even get a tire change right over there.
I don't know how Ferrari right now, where the way they started the season to where they are today, what the hell is going on with these Italians? It is unbelievable. Like we're watching the beginning, and we're both kind of like, oh, like Jesus, because I don't like Ferrari, and you don't either. And so it's like, but they're doing really well, and you're like, wow, now they're messing up things that don't cost money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Decisions.
Yeah.
During the race, which is like mind-boggling. It is it's unfortunate for the drivers because they're doing what they can. It's just they're at the bad end of bad decisions a lot of the time, to the point where they're not even in the conversation in there right now. So it is Mercedes' second place to lose, essentially. And they had a great show. Like, maybe they listened to you last week, where find the friggin' gas pedal. But like I said, Monaco wasn't the track to release the upgrades on.
I knew that.
And then this one was, and they're like, oh well, hey, they they're still 18
what the difference
behind,
is? The difference is
better.
You watched everything Red Bull did this year, right? And if you go into next year and you can't bring that gap closer, they deserve all to be they deserve all to be fired.
Yeah.
Because now this is like this. If you let Red Bull do this and you let them like this momentum just keeps flowing, now you're going to have the Schumacher era should never happen again. We've almost got it to now where it's figured out now where you can't do that again. There's one defining factor that's fucking everything up, and it's Max. He is any maniac that's winning the race the way he is, and he wants to break the lap record. That's insanity. Like, even Hamilton doesn't have that in his DNA. Russell doesn't have that in his DNA. None of them have it in their DNA. Like, they just wouldn't do that. Max is like like what's going on in his head. And you know what? The only one that knows that is Max. And you know what's
Sure.
funny too? There's what sooner or later we have to get him on the podcast, and I'll figure it out, Jesse. I've figured out many great guests, but I have to get Max on this show because like he can talk to whoever he wants to talk to all the time, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do. But I want to know what's in that fucking coconut of his. Okay, I do. I want to know what's in that head because I don't know what. Like he's just way
Racing.
different.
That's it. Honestly, like people ask all the time, like they make fun of him because he has 3 suits and he rotates them to all the events, and people make fun of him for not buying more suits, but he doesn't care.
That's my point.
Yeah, he has a yacht which he likes, and a racing sim, a yacht.
Yeah, he has one.
Yeah, he has a yacht, a nice one, $180 million yacht. Fine, but what he does is he goes home and goes to his racing sim that he's built in his living room, and he races online with random people, talking to them and racing, playing a game. That's all he does.
Oh my God.
And the guy only thinks racing. There's nothing else in him.
See, and that's
and that's
point,
the knock on Hamilton. People are like, well, you stop designing clothes and just keep driving, please. But hey, we'll be right back, everybody, on the Main Jesse podcast.
Spring is here. It's time to shed those coats and get smooth for all the fun ahead. Heading to the beach or just enjoying the sun, Backscape is the answer to a smooth, bump and cut-free spring. Worried about asking for help? Fear not. You can effortlessly make you smooth without assistance. And guess what? Their new subscription service sends you fresh precision shaving heads straight to your door. Subscribe, save, and stay smooth all season long. So don't wait and get Backscape today and enjoy the smoothness of spring.
All right, so Mark, I think that the Leafs are, the Leafs have some big things. Maple Leafs are switching to hockey. Brad Tree Living, new GM, former Flames GM. Again,
the same idiot that lost the Johnny Hockey. And
Johnny Hockey, I think, was one thing, but Tkachuk was a tough one.
And Tkachuk, he lost both.
And he wouldn't give him the deal. And he wanted, Tkachuk wanted. Tree Living won in 8 years. Tkachuk didn't. He wanted the 3. And now give him the 3 for crying out loud. Just give him the 3,
and then give him later, and beg him to stay for 3 later.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate. But hey, he's Tree Living has inherited a job that is arguably one of the worst in sports in North America. Due to for the pressure that he's going to be under, and now he has to sign a majority of his team, like Austin Matthews. I know you hate Austin Matthews, but he's one of the greatest players in the world. I don't think anyone can argue. He is. He's an elite level player. He's not the best player, but he is elite.
6'7". Yeah,
he is absolutely elite. He's not a guy that you want to lose. He whatever happens in that deal is massive for whoever lands him, and he's now responsible for getting that, and then paying him, because Austin's going to want the max of everything, obviously,
of course,
and honestly, probably should get it.
McDavid's going to be underpaid like in the next 5 minutes. Like,
well,
if we keep the clock on this, he is going to be. No joke, really, he's going to be underpaid.
To me, really, everyone's underpaid if they haven't won a championship. Or overpaid.
Overpaid.
Like I
how many cracks do you want? How many cracks do you want?
Right? I think that you look at Vegas and the Panthers. And,
I agree.
And other outside of the Panthers, the Panthers have more star talent than the Knights, which is crazy. And you're like, now everyone knows Matthew Tkachuk because he's outside of Canada and playing in the States, but also. You got Barkov and you got a couple other guys, but really, there's not the huge, massive Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl,
no.
Nathan McKinnon level names in those markets. Yet here they are, both in the final, especially Vegas, where nobody and he bring a guy back like Mark Stone, who come on now. Everyone has counted him down and out how many times now? And the guy keeps coming back, and he knows how to go to the show. I don't know. I want Matt to, but I also want Vegas to win. I don't know who I want to win this series right now. At this point, I am torn.
I want Florida to win now.
Do you?
I want Florida to win hockey, and I want Florida to win basketball. I'm on record saying this right now.
The year of Florida, and then the Florida guy can become president.
I ain't gonna, me personally, I ain't gonna lose sleep over that either, right? But what I am saying though is I'm getting to the point now where it's like everybody's like, oh, Vegas, it'll look better on the Oilers if they win, because it looked like, oh, they lost to the Stanley Cup champs, blah blah blah. But you know what? I want Vegas to suffer like the rest of us. Okay. I want them to suffer, and they haven't suffered enough. So now they're in the Stanley Cup finals. So suffer
Twice,
like
the second time in their existence.
Yeah, I don't care. I want them to,
years.
But they haven't won, and I don't want them to win right now. And they can win down the road when they want, and that's great. But I don't want them to win now. I want Florida to win.
Okay. Well, again, I'm torn still because I like the idea of an expansion team coming in there and doing it. But again, I mean, I love Matt Tkachuk. Like the guy,
Me too.
As we know, has been awesome. But then, you're talking about the Heat and Denver.
Because everybody wrote off the Heat. They think, oh well, nah. I want them to win too. So I
want Lowry to win another one.
Well, there you go.
And I think I think he might retire. I think he might actually say that's it. I don't know, but maybe it is.
Which would be great. What do you think
about Nick Nurse going to the Sixers?
No,
it did. Like it
did happen. Yeah.
I can't stand Embiid. I hate the Sixers so much. I hate them. I hate them with an undying passion.
Because you got the hate from when we played in that series.
We beat them. But I still hate them. I hate Embiid. I think he's a whiner. But again, a lot of players are whiners in the league. LeBron's a whiner in the league. And
I agree.
One of the biggest floppers ever. One of the guys that got the most calls ever. I can't believe the people, and it's coming out again like, oh, LeBron's the greatest player.
No,
you can't throw it against MJ, who's 6-0 in the final. 6-0. LeBron has won 30% of his finals, and you're like, okay, well, he did it with less players. He did it once with less players. He did it once with less players.
That's true.
When he went back to Cleveland. Every other time. The first time he did it, he needed Dwayne Wade and Kyle Bosch and
everybody.
It was the dream. It was pretty much the Olympic national
team.
The
only time it was a big deal when he won in Cleveland.
Yeah, that's the time. You have Kevin Love then. It was like nobody. And again, okay, yeah.
And now Love's playing off the bench for Miami.
Yeah.
So, and let's be honest, he's the best outlet passer in the world. I mean,
he made a career of doing it. Like it is.
Yeah.
And again, guys that know how to win. Lowry is another guy that knows how to win, been there, and why not have those guys on your bench that can bring you around? And then you got Jimmy Butler, who again has fizzled the last couple games, but that Boston series was the first 3 games were mind-blowingly good. But again, I do think that the Heat can do it. I mean, obviously Jokic is unhinged good.
Yes.
He can throw daggers from anywhere. I actually really do like a style of play because it's not super
for a big
crazy
man that
flash.
shoots a 3,
exactly.
The big man that shoots a 3 from the top of the key
and then jumper. I love that guys are starting to throw jumpers again because when we had Xavier Moon on the show, everyone was like, don't throw jumpers and
because people stopped doing it, right?
Yeah, because and that was something that MJ thrived on. Thrived on the mid-court jumper.
Well, I went to the game. What was it? The other day of the Stingers.
Yeah,
and literally that was the shot that no one makes. That no one that shot is null and void.
Because
even at that level.
They're losing that. Pure shooter. And there's threes and let's take a 3. And you get 3 specialists on there and the Raptors pretty much won a championship based on that. And how many of the Warriors won like that? Which they know, but I mean to me that pull up jumper for 2, I loved it. And I love when guys still do that. And so, Xavier Moon is one of those guys that does that too. But MJ did
he still does it, but he said that it's a dying breed and people don't want you to take it. They want you to jump back and take the 3.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but why not? I mean, that's such a great shot. I mean, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars of the world, the Magic Johnsons, they made it just it's still a great shot. You know what I mean? And it's just that in
I
between.
think I like it. I like that there's more options, and I think that if a team
Me
actually
too.
built on that more, it might work. I don't know. I'm not a coach in the NBA, but anyway, Nick Nurse goes to the Sixers. Not a fan of that. You know,
It's kind of weird.
it is weird. I mean, but they know like he had their number for a lot of it, and so you know
Did he
maybe
ever?
maybe
Did he
they go
ever?
in there. Maybe they all wanted him to come
Yeah.
try it out, and he goes. So you know, for Nurse's sake, yeah, okay, that's great. You get to go back to you know a team that can contend, and you know get there. So hopefully he comes back because you know it was a tough couple of years there in Toronto, the last couple, and
A lot of it was. But
you know I hope
what?
the Raptors can bounce back
Yes.
because it's you know, it's disappointing if they're not going to be good. So I want that to happen. I want them to be good, but you know, there's some things that have to happen.
Basically,
and
the only thing that is good in Toronto, and even the Blue Jays are struggling now.
yeah, it's up and
And
down. They're in a you know that division now is like ridiculously good.
yeah,
And
I didn't say that. I
yeah,
just said that they're struggling now, right? And as you see, everybody, as I'm wearing a Detroit Tigers hat, you understand my love for the Tigers over the Blue Jays, right? The
yes,
only thing I like, and I've always said that, the only thing I like is the Toronto Raptors.
yeah,
I mean, they're just something about them. I like everything. I love everything about them. Even if I don't care, they don't go far in the playoffs, they get beat out, whatever. I don't care, but they give it. They give it, and that's something a lot of the Toronto teams can't say. You know,
yeah, it's
so
true. I mean, you know, the AL East, you know, you got the Rays who are 43-19 somehow. The
yeah,
Orioles 37-22, the Yankees 36-25, the Jays 33-27. The worst team in that division is the Red Sox at 30-30. Not
yeah,
even a
crazy.
losing record. So, you know, that division is fire. And you
Yeah,
know, when you get stuck in there, like, okay, how do you get out of here? You got to pray for a wild card, but then you got to beat the Orioles, who, you know, again, it's tight in there. You got like 7 wins from second to last in that division, and the fortunate part is that the wild card, you're already ahead in that kind of thing. If the pace can keep going, you know, you got a shot in there at the wild card at the end. But you know, it is one of those things. I always find that Jays are, you know, that there's so many things that look great, and then when it all has to come together, it doesn't all come together.
And you know what's funny though? I look at the team, and they got some real baseball players on their team.
Oh yeah,
You know, like you look at Bo Bichette, he is like such a throwback from the 50s and
it's true.
60s. And then they just have a ton of good players, and it's just a matter of them putting it all together. You know what I mean? Because they do have it. They do. And everybody knows it. And like I said, I'm not a Jays fan, but I do watch them.
Right. Yeah. So you know, it is one of those things, and also the season. Like, I don't know, man. Baseball. I like baseball, but again, it's so long. There's
Yeah, it's
so
long.
There's
It's long,
always
and
games.
I always that everybody says that as a joke, but it actually is quite true when we say to yourself on a like a Sunday you want to watch a ball game because it's a perfect time to take a nap, and then you basically you're out by the 5th inning, you wake up around the 7th inning, and then you're like, okay, I'll just watch the last 2, and then it's good. You know, if you watch baseball that way, then it's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But most of the time, to sit and watch an entire baseball game, not going to happen.
No, it's long. I like the playoffs, of course, but yeah.
Are you gonna make it out to any Stinger games or what this year? Because
Yeah.
I got because there's one on a Saturday this week, but then there's one on a Wednesday next week. So we got to figure that out. And don't forget, everybody, our dear friend Jelena Martinovich is fighting in Palm Springs, California this week on the 8th, this Thursday. I do believe it's on DAZN. I'll check to make sure. But Jelena Martinovich is fighting, 8-time world champ, our dear friend of the show. We're super excited about that, but that's happening on June 8th, everybody.
June 8th. Okay. And for the championship?
No, it's just like a kind of a contender fight.
Yeah.
But that's what she needs right now. You know what I mean? Like she needs that kind of fight right now, and she's getting it. And she's her trainer has been on our show. Awesome. it just like we really want to see her do well, and she's fighting on the 8th. So I just wanted to point that out to her.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like.
Yeah.
Good luck in the fight.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard, if you've lived under a rock,
Rock.
Jelena Mavjinovic, 8-time world champion from Edmonton, Alberta.
Yeah.
Arguably one of the greatest female fighters of all time.
Oh, fine.
And there's not
And
even
she's
a street
fantastic.
named after her.
And she's fantastic. And she's been on our show once, I think, right? Not twice, once.
Once, and then she did a cameo once when her.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But
she's an absolute sweetheart. She's been on our show, and she's fighting. And I'm trying to check the casino where she's fighting at, but I know it's in Palm Springs.
Well, back to golf, where again, the PGA just never ends with their pout. Did you
see what they did though? They see what they did for the first time ever in my entire life I've ever seen. What they did this the other day when what's his name wins the other day. What's his name? No, not Koepka. Oh shit, Mark, come on, man. My brain is fogged today. I don't know why, but it's the weather and it's my stupid allergies. But Hovland, Victor Hovland, won on the weekend. Okay, great golfer, great kid. He wins, right? So the first time ever I see this in the PGA Tour, they put the amount of money, like, on social media, they put the amount of money he actually won on the banner, which I guarantee you've never seen in the history of the PGA. But now the prize for first place was $3.6 million. Okay. And on the Live Golf Tour, it's $4 million, right?
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? They actually, like, on all their social media, the PGA Tour, they put a banner underneath that said $3.6 million for the winner. And I thought, oh my God, that's hilarious, because the PGA, being the PGA, never, ever would put that on their stuff. But if you go on Twitter, you go on other places, you'll see $3.6 million. You know what I mean? And I think it's hilarious because that's what they're starting to show you now. We're getting more money.
Yeah.
And they need to drastically
my
do that.
My thing is they didn't have that already. They didn't already have that money. I can
there you go, Jesse. There you go, Jesse.
They're like, oh shit, we better put some more zeros on this check, because why is that event that high? Like, let's be real here.
Well, it's the Memorial. It's Jack Nicklaus's tournament, which is the greatest golfer in the world for all you people at home. And you know what's funny? Jack's tournament, the total purse was $20 million for everybody.
Yeah.
And literally 3.6 for the winner. And I thought, wow, it wasn't the point that he won $3.6 million. It was the point that if they had any sense, they would have said he's going to win $4,000,001. And that's what I would have did. See, me being the promoter of the PGA golf, if I knew anything about promoting anything, I would, if I was the guy running the PGA Tour, this moron that's running it, I would have literally made sure the purse was $4,000,001.
Yes.
because and have that on the check to say to Live Golf, go screw yourselves. You think your Saudi Arabia money? This is American money. We're gonna give you $4,000,001 to the winner, Victor Hovland. Okay, and that's my way of telling you, look. We're gonna now start paying them more. Okay, you might have forced us to do so, but you did, and here we are. Here we are now.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They didn't do that, Jesse. They paid him 3.6.
Yeah.
So what you're still showing is that even for this is the closest golf tournament you can get to a major is the Memorial. It's Jack Nicklaus's tournament every year, and he won $3.6 million.
Well, we have another major coming up, June 15th, U.S. Open starts.
U.S. Open. And I'm telling everybody right now, money plays. Please, everybody, call me, text me, email me, get me on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, message me. I'm taking Koepka for the win right now. Oh, yeah. It's done. It's done.
Wow.
Pack it in, guys. Rory McIlroy, all you guys, pack it in. Okay, it's happening. I'm telling you, it is happening, and it's going to happen again. So here we go. It's going to happen again.
Well, hey man, I'm all for it. I would love any
for
of the
win.
Live guys to win.
U.S. Open starts on the 15th of June. Everybody, 15th of June is the first round. And then by the 18th, I'll be right again, and all's be good in the world of golf because Koepka for the win again. Listen, this kid, he's a kid to me, right? Because I'm 55. So Koepka is made for major golf tournaments. If you told him, he probably would have never played in any other golf tournaments if you just would have said, here, you just play in the majors. And when it's all said and done, this kid's going to have 10 to 12 major victories when his career's over, at least.
Well, geez, I mean,
yeah, which will put him in the greats category. You know what I mean? Because if you get like I'd say like Phil Mickelson, I'll check right now, but Phil's probably got I think 5 or 6 major golf tournaments, and that's something and people already are putting him in as one of the greats. You know what I mean?
I think Phil is one of the greats.
Who?
Phil.
Yeah, I agree. But what I'm trying to tell you, how many majors he has. So Phil has won. Let me see. Phil has won all 4. No, he is one. What does it say? Okay, blah, 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 blah. Lee Trevino, the great Lee Trevino, has only won 6 majors. Like that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, and Phil Mickelson has won 6 majors, 6 wins. Yeah, Phil 6 majors. So you imagine you win 6 majors and you're in the greats category, and Koepka has 5 already. So you know what I'm trying to tell you? Like that's huge. Like when you look at of course Jack Nicklaus still has the most of all time. Okay, everybody. So don't get that twisted. But then you have Tiger as number 2. And then it drops off. I mean, like huge.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to tell you is you literally have between 5, 6, 7, 8 major. You're in the greats category. So Koepka's in the greats. He's already in that category. He's already on the cusp of that, getting there.
So Phil actually predicts that the guy that just won the Memorial, Hovland, is going to win the U.S. Open, and when he does win, he's coming.
He's going to go to live golf. Yeah.
So, like, because you need the major exemption, so that's what they want. If you win a major, you get the exemption. So,
they're letting. Yeah, that's true. That's right.
So he would say, "Hey, you win that, you get it." So I think that hey man,
do you realize, Jesse? Do you realize one thing right now? If Live Golf wants to take it over the top, go all in, they only need Rory.
Do you really even? I think you're building on the next generation. Like
I
Scotty
agree,
Scheffler.
But they didn't do when they took
John Ram.
Yeah.
Rory McIlroy. I mean, obviously, yeah, you want.
But if they would take Ram and Rory, it's over. Because the current number 1 player in the world is Scotty Scheffler.
Yes, it is.
But the problem with Scotty, I love him. He's a god guy like us, right? So but the problem with him is he's as vanilla as they come. You can't get any more vanilla.
Yeah, that's true.
He's as vanilla as they come, and let him be the number 1 player in the world where no one gives a rat's ass. He'll make a ton of money and he'll do good for himself, and that'll be the end of it. But if you took John Ram and you took Rory, it's over.
Yeah,
it's over.
Yeah,
it's over.
And again, like it is getting those guys to come over, and I think that's obviously it's not an easy feat. But
you imagine the PGA right now if they don't see that writing on the wall, that they're literally 2 golfers away. And if they go and take someone like Max Homa, who Max is like that guy that's coming up the ladder and getting lots of buzz.
Yeah.
If you take him with them as a side cursor, it's finished. It's finished. PGA Tour is done. But the problem is, you see Rory and you think to yourself, Rory, what do you need now? You're getting older, man. Like you know what? You're not, like, even this weekend, he was in the lead for about a split second in time. What happened again? The wheels fell off. He finishes in 4th or 5th place. Good for you. You won some money. But at his level now, he just can't close. And you know what it is? It's 72 holes that are killing him. You know what happens?
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Yeah, man. You go to Live Golf. It's 54 holes. Rory wins every tournament on the Live Golf Tour almost. And maybe Koepka and DJ stop him here and there, but Rory goes over there and makes $4 million every time he wins, to go along with the 150 million, 200 million they're going to have to pay him to get there.
Yeah, I wonder how long. Like, I wonder. I mean, I guess I wish I could see 10 years ahead and see what was going to happen here, because it is. This is an interesting one that a major sport has been challenged this way in, like, what, the last 50 years? Like, really, like, what is it?
Jesse,
like,
live
maybe
golf
the last one was the NHL and the WHA. Like, maybe that was the last
that wasn't
one.
big. That wasn't big enough, though. You know what, Jesse? Live Golf walked up to the PGA and spit right in their face.
Absolutely.
And you know what's funny? The only thing they did differently was they fixed a little bit of their social media to make it a little bit hippified it a little bit, and they raised the purse money. And what I would have said if I was a golfer on the PGA Tour is, how come now? Like,
Well,
why?
yeah,
How did you do this?
There's a
to us?
reason why.
No, but you always paid for your own hotels. You, excuse me, your transportation. You paid for everything. Live Golf, they're driving you around on private jets. They're picking you up with camels. They're picking you up with no, they did that. They're doing everything. It's crazy. They're bringing in concerts. You know, golfers. They're trying to make golfers cool, which is super hard. And they literally got golfers doing shoeies on stage with world famous DJs and doing these huge concerts after the final round on a Saturday, because on a Sunday they're so damn hungover and counting all their money.
Yeah. Well, they made it fun. They made it fun for people to watch. And again,
You're right.
that's a knock on baseball.
Right.
And baseball, you know, kudos to the point where they've tried at least to try to speed up the game and try to make it a little more entertaining. Still got a long ways to go, in my opinion, but
yeah,
you know, it is a new generation of people that consume. That's why the Paul brothers, like, have figured something out.
It's the best point you're making right there. Is when Paul brothers said it, we all talked shit about it when it first happened.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Then what happened? We all started watching it. Now we don't even watch real boxing unless it's like 2 or 3 people, like Canelo, and maybe Ryan Garcia. And then we kind of found out that
but he isn't even that popular.
No, he's not. And then Lomachenko, like literally 3-4 guys, Jesse. Now, now we go, oh, Nate Diaz is fighting Jake Paul, and we're doing this. We're going, let's circle that on our calendar because we're all watching it and we don't care anymore. And it's true. It's I don't care what you want to call it, but it's
well, I think maybe they saw the McGregor Mayweather thing happen. Oh, and they realized in that moment,
yes,
hey, I can do that.
Jesse, Connor became one of the richest sports people in the world, Jesse. Jesse, do you realize I could have put you against Floyd Mayweather that day and he wouldn't have knocked you out? You understand that, right? That's where Floyd is at in his career right now. And he actually did stop Connor in the later rounds. Yeah. And people were celebrating like,
it was a shady stop.
Yeah, but he wasn't hurt.
I don't think so either. I think it was, McGregor. I mean, really, like, give him a standing 8. Why do you stop the fight?
Yeah, exactly. So why exactly? So why did that happen? And why? But when they did the mathematics at the end, that's what made Connor all this money, $150 million. That's why he's driving around in jets and got his own whiskey company and all these other things, because he fought on one day, Floyd Mayweather, and everybody in the world tuned in. Everybody, we all did. And you know what's funny? We didn't care who won the fight, actually. But we were watching it going, oh, isn't that cool that Connor's still in the fight? Like, but is he really? And then Floyd kind of just turned it up on him a little bit. But the whole time we're watching it going, oh, Connor did okay. Does anybody care? Look at the money this kid made on this fight. That's why Francis Ngannou left the UFC as the heavyweight champion of the world, because he knows maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. Dana White can shit talk him all he wants and tell everybody, oh, I don't know what he's waiting for, a big fight, because he's going to get one. He's going to get one, whether it be in bare knuckle against our boy Alan Belcher, and they're going to pay him $1 gazillion. He signed with PFL. PFL is going to pay. Look what Francis did. His opponent can't make less than $2 million.
Yeah.
His opponent.
Yeah.
So he must be making $4 million a fight in PFL, and the opponent will make $2 million. You imagine that? What you're signing up for? No, you're not making 100,000, 200,000
Right.
like UFC.
Yeah.
You're making
Yeah,
$2
you're
million.
making money that you can actually trade
your
off
life.
for your life essentially, because
Correct.
you're sacrificing your body to make
fight
money.
Francis Ngannou.
Exactly.
And Francis is doing that for you. He
Yeah, that's right.
negotiated that for you. How anybody can run their mouth about Francis, it should get a slap.
Yeah.
You want slap?
But
you want a
I
slap?
mean, that's the thing with that the UFC has done. Like, Dana's done it very well. He's a spin doctor. Let's be real. Like, he is a spinner. He knows how to spin things in his favor.
Can't we do that, Jesse? As our podcast keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, our podcast, can't we be the spin doctors the other way? Can't we be telling people?
I mean, again, it's what we try to do. It's what we all try to do. It's everyone that stood up against what Dana, especially the wife slapping incident, that stood up. We've all shouted it from the rooftops. It just shows the power that the UFC carries. And our guest last week, said the same thing. Like, there's power with Dana, that he obviously has influence, and severe influence, big influence, and the crazy part is that as many people that stand up against it is still not enough to topple it yet, which is it shows that the structure is strong still, which is why, like, the PGA thing, like with Liv, it shook very violently and still is, because they let their castle they built erode, whereas the UFC still has a lot of power behind its name, and it can keep going. So I hope that the day comes when someone like Liv starts an MMA organization that can start paying these guys and making this sport
way cheaper.
Yeah,
it would be way cheaper,
and actually make it somewhat legitimate to me.
I'm shocked that Liv hasn't seen that yet. I'm shocked
Maybe
that
they
Liv
have, but they're in deep on this.
No, but what I'm saying is because they're so deep into the golf, because I'm telling you, it's low-hanging fruit for them for MMA. It's not even like they would destroy 99 of the other MMA organizations, and they could literally walk in and pay people like Connor that people still want to watch fight, the Dustin Poiriers of the world, and the other, and Francis Ngannou, not even part of their organization anymore. So it's not that hard to do that. It's really not. And I'm shocked that they haven't started the ball rolling on that.
Well,
because UFC's bragging about they're worth $4 billion, and they sold for that. So what are they worth now? And they're just bragging recently that they made $350 million last year. So, hey, what's the thing here? I can't believe no one's taken that from them, because if you're ready to piss all over the PGA golf that's been around for a gazillion years, you could do it to the UFC very easily.
And I think that, if someone with, excess billion laying around wanted to, they could. Again, I was looking at Jeff Bezos because he really is looking at getting a sports team of some kind.
I'm surprised he's not even
now. Like they're blocking him in some of it, which they did that to Jim Basile back in the day too, and
they did to Mark Cuban too. Remember,
and you're like, okay, why? Like, what? Let these guys that actually can promote your sport, because as much as you shit on Jerry Jones from the Cowboys, he promotes the Cowboys. The Cowboys are the most valuable team
I agree with that,
in the world. They're worth $6.5 billion. That's more than the UFC. Like, it is incredible. He bought that for $140 million, by the way. He bought it for $140 million for 6.5. And so you look at that, and that an owner that cares about it and knows how to do that to promote your sport and your team, can take what it can do for the sport. I'm shocked that you don't let someone like Bezos. Look what Wrexham FC did with Ryan Reynolds and in England.
People don't understand that Wrexham FC is like
it was nobody.
Yeah,
nobody. They just got promoted, which is incredible. But they're still not even in the top level. They're not in the Premier League.
They're not even in the top two levels yet.
So you got to understand. But everyone now knows about it because of the owners. What, like, okay,
Yeah.
it's time for the changing of the guard in
I
in
agree.
sports, like the admin part of sports. You know, the Gary Bettmans of the world, like, you know, the
I
Roger
agree.
Goodells of the world. It's time for these guys to go out to pasture, and it's time to bring in some new blood that actually understands the world
totally
that we live
agree.
in today. Liv understands the world we live in today. And you can say that they're not doing everything perfect. They signed a stupid television contract deal, which is mind blowing. But anyway,
Yeah.
they understand
that
at
is-
least
yeah.
the way people consume things today. It's time to get those people in the power positions in these sports that want to expand, because it's just these guys are getting old, and it's showing. The cracks are showing, and someone else will come and steal everything if you don't get in there and have someone, you know, packages up a different way.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. It really is a fault with the NFL. It's a fault with Major League Baseball. It's a fault with PGA golf. It's a fault. Like, it just really is. NHL hockey. Like
how long have they tried to be good in the States?
Yeah, and they're still not.
They can't
I mean,
crack it.
this will probably be the lowest watched Stanley Cup playoff in history, and it shouldn't be, because it's going to be awesome, but it probably will be.
Well, everybody, again, thanks so much for tuning in. We got to thank our awesome sponsors. Backscape, head over to backscape.com. They got great Father's Day sales coming up in a couple weeks, Father's Day. So head over.
It's such a cool gift, though. It would be such a cool gift because, listen, you know what's funny about back hair? Nothing. But you know what's great about Backscape? You know what's great about Backscape? It is cool. Backscape is cool.
Yeah.
So it's a cool product. And also, too, for you guys that don't want to have the rug on the front, it works on the front, too.
That's true.
It's kind of a weird thing when you call it Backscape, but it works on your arms. If you don't want hair on your arms, if you don't want hair on your chest, if you don't want hair like on your stomach area, it works there, too, as well. And definitely it's made for your back. But at the same time is no burns, no burning, no like rash burning, you know, like when you would think you would get that, but you do not. So I highly recommend this product. Listen, guys, I use it myself. So as I do get older at the age of 55, on occasion, you know, on the front, a little bit on the back, I use it. And I use it religiously, and it is fantastic. I cannot recommend it enough. What I don't like is I would consider myself on the scale of male vanity very high. So what I'm saying is I don't care that I have it. I just know that you'll never see it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. And don't forget Crystal Glass, everybody. Your
Yes.
clear choice for all your glass needs. Call 310 Glass or go to crystalglass.ca with 49 locations throughout Western Canada.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Do that. Well, everybody, thanks so much for watching once again. Yeah, I mean, another great week in sports. Let's keep her rolling.
And don't forget, everybody, this Thursday night, Jelena Martineau, 8-time world champion, fights. And tune into her fight. Google it. It's in Palm Springs, California, and we'll all be tuning in and watching.
Good luck, Jelena, and thanks, everybody, for watching. That's Mark Pavelich. I'm Jesse Martineau. This has been the Me and Jesse podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe on all social media, especially on YouTube. We'll see you next time, everybody. Have a great night.
Thanks for watching the Me and Jesse podcast. Follow us at facebook.com/Me and Jesse.